Hey, welcome back to A Conversation With. My name is Philip DeFranco, and today we're having a conversation with the fantastic, but today broken, Markiplier. Hello, sir.
Broken, man. Broken. Just completely shattered.
Yeah, I can see that it's like, it's genuinely bothering you. It's not like, it's not, because I feel like half of the stuff that I see with you is just you're breaking down as a human being. Your body is betraying you.
Dude, we all get older. We're all going to die someday. I'm just accelerating the process to dust. I'm just trying to break myself down one piece at a time.
Have you talked about what happened to your foot?
Just exploded, man. I don't know. I was walking by. I literally was walking my dog and I stepped off a curb and the fucker just broke. Can I curse? It just snapped in half. I don't know how. I tripped on the ground. You know, the ground is flat. I tripped on that. And then my foot went like this. And then this fifth metatarsal, which is the middle, it's like this equivalent bone that's in your palm, but in the foot, snapped right at the base, right at the joint. So it's actually the bulbous tip that's supposed to be strong, snapped. I don't know. And then it's broke. And that's the end of the story. There's nothing else happening there.
Mark, how old are you?
I'm 31.
And you look like you take care of yourself. How is this a thing that happened?
I don't take care of myself. What are you talking about?
What? Really? I mean, I don't want to immediately just flush you with compliments, but you look like you take care of yourself. I watched at least
Korean, man. It happens this way. Yeah. No, I mean, I work out on a daily basis, but I don't know. You get the right pressure on the right bone, that thing's gonna just break in twain.
Because all my injuries are like almost injuries. I fell off of a bird scooter a year ago, and I was like never going outside ever. But I didn't even get. I mean, I had like a limp for a month, but Jesus, just walking.
Dude, this one hurts so bad. Like, I have a pain scale. I did it on Unus Annus. We made a pain scale. I've been pepper sprayed. I've had like major surgery. I've gotten tumor removed. I had an appendectomy, lots of surgeries. I cracked my skull open. I broke both bones in this hand. Like, I've done painful things. This hurt. Tiny chicken bone hurt like hell.
Is this top
Couldn't
one?
believe it.
This is the most painful thing?
No, nowhere near. Yeah,
okay.
No. This is like, but the immediate pain was like an 8, like a goddamn 8. And they didn't send me home with painkillers. So I've been dealing with this with Tylenol and Advil.
What? Why? Are you
Mark,
are you not advocating for yourself?
No, it's because there's a whole prescription painkiller medication epidemic, an opioid epidemic across America. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it, but overprescription is such a problem in America today.
That is true.
Pharmaceutical companies need an answer for it, but me, I could have used some.
So wait, I don't understand why you didn't ask. Are you worried that you'd get addicted?
No, I'm not worried about me getting addicted. No, it's just like doctors probably as a basis, like, don't want to prescribe for things that should be just tolerable. And I get that. I'm a badass, so I can handle the pain, obviously, clearly. But when it comes down to prescribing, I imagine they're trying to prescribe less for pain that could be managed with over-the-top medication.
Yeah,
over-the-counter medication.
I see it. Yeah. I mean, do you? I know that you've talked about that you don't drink. Would you like? Do you smoke for this or?
No, I don't like how I feel when I smoke weed. It's weird. It's just like, I don't like anything that makes me feel like I'm out of control. I tried some of the CBD stuff. Didn't like that either. So I'm raw dogging this pain. You know, I'm going through it all by myself. I'm so tough.
Have you? I like that you're complimenting yourself.
It's not a compliment. It's just a fact. I'm just such a.
This is reality. Yeah. Have you ever done anything? Any drugs?
Done anything like what? I've smoked weed once. That's it.
Wow.
No, I smoked weed twice.
So like did you Bill Clinton it or did you inhale? your two single times.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did not inhale. Wasn't that George Bush? Wasn't that Bush? I don't know.
Bush, I don't know. Bush seems like a dude that does coke.
Coke specifically?
Yeah.
When I first smoked weed, it was with a friend who I will not name for whatever reason. I don't know, legality, something. But he had to leave halfway through. So like, he introduced me to the concept of the weed, and we smoked the weed out of the pipe. And then, like, he left because he had to go pick up someone. So I was alone with the pipe and the weed. And so I packed 3 more bowls and smoked it all by myself because I didn't know what a normal amount of the weed was.
Yeah.
I was so gone. Just every reality was permeating through my brain. Horrible. I hated it. Never
did you feel like
wanted
you were
to
gonna
do it again.
did you feel like you were gonna have a heart attack?
I was on the bathroom floor contemplating the reality of the ceiling as it folded inside of itself.
Oh, you got really gone. Oh, wow.
It was bad. And then I did it twice because many years later, I was like, okay, maybe that was just a fluke. And then I tried again, and I'm like equally just like watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, like, beast, he knows what he's talking about. You know, just like, I hated it. Couldn't stand it. I don't like it. I don't mind anyone that does. I got no problem with it. But me personally, I don't like it.
The way you were talking about the pipe and stuff, I feel like that's how they should do anti-drug commercials. Just you explaining what it is to do drugs, and people are like, it just doesn't sound cool.
Yeah. Hey kids, you want to be cool? You want to smoke from the pipe? Let me show you in my 10-part instructional series on YouTube. People would love that.
Mark, I'm kind of wondering because you have so many different projects. You have the apparel brand. You have stuff like that. How do you describe what you do at this point? Because you're kind of an OG. You've done so much. I mean, do you still think of yourself as a gaming entertainer, a creator? How do you describe it?
I don't know. I don't usually bother trying to explain myself. Usually because I don't have time. I usually, people think that I am on top of things. I'm not, most of the time I'm running around from project to project being like, oh shit, that was due last week. Oh shit, I was supposed to write that. Oh shit, I needed to answer that email. So what I do most of the time is I consider myself just like, I just like making things. You can call that a creator or whatever. I like making things. I jump from idea to idea really quickly, and it's a problem because I jump into so many ideas with some half finished. I don't know what you would call that. Probably a procrastinator. But I like making things. I don't know if there's a qualification necessary for it. Videos just happen to be one of the things I really like making, and I like trying different types of videos, and I like writing down ideas, and I like just making things. Yeah.
Why do you think that you have so many projects? What I know that you said you like creating things, but where do you get the joy out of it? Like what makes you go, yeah, I'll do another one after I just did another thing that was a success?
A lot of people have asked me that, especially after Unus Annus, because I immediately started jumping into other things. It's just the way I'm built. Like I'm not saying I'm an incredible idea machine and they just keep pumping out. It's just like I find myself swept up in ideas really quickly, and I find myself getting overwhelmed with the desire to know everything about that idea, whether it's something out in the world or something I'm coming up with myself. I find myself writing in a notebook. I handwrite ideas just because I find it's more connective from the brain to the real world, and I'll find myself just spending 4 hours in the morning just writing out random ideas. It could be literally anything, like a video idea, movie idea, book idea, just random notes about some programming I'm learning or something like that, or just a weird bullshit concept about space that I'm trying to wrap my head around. That it's just a very soothing way to get the chaos in my head out. But at the same time, that's just how I'm built. Like, even before YouTube, yes, my friend Bob, I tried a million different things before I landed on YouTube just because I found myself getting inspired. I tried like writing, game design, comic art. I tried a bunch of different things. It's just who I am. I can't be anything else. So, yeah.
Is there like a top of a mountain for you at this point?
I asked myself that question about 5 years ago, and it made me incredibly depressed.
Wait, what aspect of it made you very depressed?
Well, because I looked at my original. A lot of people's goals when they come into YouTube is like, I want to make 10 million subscribers, 1 million subscribers,
Sure.
Whatever. I want to get to this level. I got there really quickly. I was very fortunate that I found success. Five Nights at Freddy's really like spiked me up there. And a couple years after that, like around 2016 or so, I started looking around and I realized that I was already kind of up there where I really destined to be. And when I got up there to like the 15 million range, I started being like, well, it's no different now than it was then. Do I keep trying to push higher, or do I stay where I am? And so I started getting really like in my own head about the concept of being an influencer and trying to like chase success. And it really started messing with me. But in a weird way, it also caused me to make a lot of really interesting things. Like I started messing with like choose your own adventure formats, more sketch comedy stuff, like this tour I decided to do with my friends because I wanted to like explore different methods of performance. I tried music with that. And I was trying to find like the same drive that pushed me to want to do YouTube in the first place, because the problem with me getting swept up in so many things is that I lose interest very quickly as well. And it's just the way I am. It's very hard for me to stay interested. And when it came to YouTube, I didn't want to lose that interest. And so that's where the depression came in, where I was doing all these different things and I was still not feeling the same urgency to do it. And it took a long time to get out of that. Yeah, we don't have to cover it now, but it like eventually I had to get out of it, but it took a long time. Yeah.
And when you say no,
my crutches.
When you say we don't have to cover it, do you mean like you how you worked through it, your break, or I mean, I'm genuinely
it's just like it's your show. I don't want to.
No,
I take up all the time.
What do you mean it's my show? I make this. Show. I want to learn about you.
Oh well, like I said, it's mostly boring. Working through it. It's because it's working through it is a complicated thing. I couldn't really tell you when the one moment was when I found the love again.
I don't think there is one moment. I think that it's this gradual. It's the same. I mean, obviously, depression can kind of fucking hit you like an anvil, but a lot of the time it's like this slow grind, this like taking layer upon layer off of you. And so I mean, for me then I guess if it's not this one moment, how do you if we're gonna stick with this analogy, how do you kind of add those layers of self that bring you back to a happy place, or at least a neutral place?
Man, you know, I hate to say this in any way that, you know, sounds like advice, because I never want to give advice to anyone because every situation is different. But for me, like, I guess the conclusion that I came to is that I am happiest when I'm allowing myself to be consumed with ideas that are new, right? So my attachment to the original desire of why I wanted to do YouTube would never come back. It was the acceptance of that idea, and getting to that point was a very difficult thing because you don't know the answer when you're looking for it. But kind of like exploring different facets of what YouTube could be, different ways of making videos, things outside of gaming, different projects that scared me. Like, I'm not in any way shy about public speaking, but performing music in front of a crowd makes me seize up. And I wanted to like tackle that. Like, I wanted to tackle that fear because I didn't know why I was so scared. And I realize now why I was so scared is because I wasn't very good at it. So I got that. I did it out of the way, move on. And then also I didn't like it very much. But, you know, getting through these obstacles that I threw in my head because I can't leave YouTube behind. What I realized was, YouTube doesn't have to be just what I did. YouTube can be whatever I want. My channel is purely an expression of me, not in an artistic way, but you know, it's me. It's my videos. It's what I make. So do whatever I feel like making in the moment, and then there's no apologies that I need to make to myself. You know, I don't need to justify the fact that, oh, this might make me lose what really mattered. And the realization is like chasing these new ideas is the original feeling, but it's impossible to encapsulate because you'll never know what that project is until you let yourself be free to find it.
Do you remember what was kind of the video or the series of things where you were like, I'm just doing the same thing that kind of broke you down and got you to that point, that first point? Because I know, like, for a lot of Minecraft tubers and FIFA tubers, there's like video 1007 of like me doing the same shit. They're like, I can't anymore.
You know, I definitely feel that. It's like a different type of burnout. I'd say what really did it for me, and this might sound weird for people, is doing subscriber milestone videos.
Oh,
made it it felt wrong after a while. Like once I got past 10 million, like I made my actual 10 million subscriber milestone video was a video called Meow. I made that on the day.
I didn't know that was 10 million. Wow.
I made that on the day I hit 10 million because I did not want to make a thank you video. Like I was just coming out of a tragedy in my life, and I was like, I'm not in the mood to say thank you. I'm in the mood to make something stupid. And I really made it stupid. And now I don't know why, but YouTube's algorithm is suggesting that video to everybody now. And then people are like watching it and being like, I didn't know Mark made this. Oh, wow. And it's like, I wish you didn't know that, you know, I wish you didn't know that. But, you know, I don't regret anything I make, just because in that moment, I allowed myself to make something that my brain was just like, stupid idea, let's just do it. And it's not like that moment I realized that was the key. Looking back, now I can see that in that moment, I didn't want to make the video that I thought I should make. I wanted to make something else. And allowing that creativity to come out is the only way that you can get the real ideas out, whether they're good or bad. It's you, and you need to get it out. So, that was the start of me realizing that doing subscriber milestone videos just felt so empty and felt so self-serving and felt so pointless. Because, you know, how many times can I say thank you to people that, you know, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this conclusion, but there's some pretty words in there. You know, how can I say thank you to people that should already know that I'm grateful?
Right.
Before sounding disingenuous.
No, I get that. Yeah. You know, because you do so many different things, whether it be the videos or the projects or your charity work or Make-A-Wish, when you're making things or you're doing things, what do you think the split is for you as like a human being of you doing things for other people versus like what you feel doing it?
I mean, hopefully there's a balance, but that's an ideal that no one can reach. There's always one side versus another. I don't blame any creator that does things because it works. I would never blame anyone. I say this a lot in private. I never hate on any YouTuber that plays the game. The game being the chasing of fame, the subscribers, the stuff, the plugging of like getting bigger fan base. I never fault anyone for chasing the game. I'm like, fuck yeah, go chase the game. Get success. Get that success. Like I chase that success. And just because it wasn't the end all for me doesn't mean it's not the end all for someone. And for some people, I just want to see what the fuck they can make. So just like go for it. But you know, for me personally, the blend has to be very selfishly, mostly me. Like there's some things that I do for the fans because they want it. But the vast majority of the time, I say no because I don't want to do it. Like my try not to laugh series, not that mine, everyone does it, like a reaction thing like that. But I stopped it because it got tons of views. Every single one was a banger. But it wasn't anything of me. It was just me, ha, ha, ha. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't fault any other YouTuber for doing it. I would never fault them. But for me, it was just so unfulfilling.
Right.
So that was like starting the process of like detaching the success generators away.
Hey, I hope you're still enjoying the podcast. I just want to take a second to thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of A Conversation With, Ritual. Sometimes, even when we're trying our best to eat healthy, we might not be getting all the key nutrients that we need from our diet alone, and that is where Ritual comes in. Personally, I've been using Ritual's Essential for Men 18 Plus multivitamin that helps support heart health, brain health, and normal muscle and immune function with key nutrients like vitamin K2, omega-3 DHA, vitamins A and D3, as well as magnesium and zinc. Ritual helps support foundational health with clean, traceable ingredients that make it easy to turn your healthy habits into a ritual. The name makes sense, guys. Good job. And their subscription-based supplements are easy to start and are delivered directly to your door for only about $1 a day. Is vegan-friendly, non-GMO, gluten and allergen-free, and you can track where each nutrient comes from right down to the supplier. And best of all, right now, Ritual is offering 10% off during your first 3 months. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to ritual.com/ACW and use code ACW to get 10% off and help support your heart health and normal muscle and immune system function today. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
Am I remembering this correctly? I feel like it was a while ago. Did you get like an award for for doing the most like Make-A-Wish visits at some point, or am I
not the most? I forget what the name of the award was, but it was like it was a special recognition for doing a lot, or it was 2016. I want to think so. I can't remember specifically.
Is there something that drew you to that? I mean, did you approach them? Did they approach you? Why did you? What was your kind of thinking of, I'm going to do this a lot?
Well, I mean, no, honestly, with Make-A-Wish, I just have a personal policy, or I try to as much as I can, where if there's someone that wants to see me for Make-A-Wish, I drop everything and I go, because dying kid in the hospital, like this might be the last chance. There's no time to wait for that kind of shit. Like, my life can pause, because like, what I'm doing cannot be more important than making some kid happy. That's just like me, personal policy. Mm-hmm. And I know saying that, like, there's been times when schedule conflicts just can't work. So I can't say that I've done it every single time. But like for me, like I just do that. Like, of course, absolutely. So just that, apparently that policy impressed the people at Make-A-Wish enough that they wanted to give me an award. And personally, like, I was just like, I don't like awards. I generally don't like awards, just because I feel like awards are the same reason I don't do thank you videos anymore, or like subscriber milestone videos anymore. It's like, it feels self-serving, and I don't really care about acknowledgement for something like that. Mm-hmm. The more meaningful thing to me is say like my girlfriend telling me I did a good job. If I just pulled like an all-nighter working on something, that, yeah, which I do a lot, a million times more meaningful is if she says she's proud of me, and that'll make me tear up immediately. But an award, I don't know. I feel like it could go to someone more deserving, or someone that would appreciate it more, you know, like
I might not word this question the best way, but does doing it that often, does it break off a piece of you? Because I know that you've like jokingly said that you're an asshole, but you've always struck me in a certain way as like a very probably empathetic person, where a lot of things probably hit you straight in the chest. And obviously, if you're working with kids that are part of the Make-A-Wish program, there's a limited time there, right? There's a line in the sand that, you know, is kind of around the corner. How do you deal with that? Or is that not part of it, that you're so focused and able to compartmentalize that I'm doing this good thing?
I mean, I definitely recognize it, like, oh yeah, no, I'm doing this thing because it's a good thing to do. Like it's not completely detached from that mindset, but also just like, that's not a bad thing to recognize. You know, it's not a bad thing to recognize, like, I'm doing this because it's good, but also because it's the right thing to do in my mind. So did I answer the question?
Not really. No idea, does it weigh on you? Does it
weigh on me?
And it's the reason I think it's like a hard question is because obviously you don't want to say anything that like there's some sense of like that there should be guilt, because that's not a thing. It's just, I'm interested in just kind of like the emotional human level of what that does to someone that is very giving with your time.
Oh, like how does it affect me personally seeing these kids all the time?
Yes. And then, because I know that you've then provided updates of, then you like learn when one of these kids passes. And if you're doing it that often, I mean, that has to be heavy.
I mean, for me, it's another equation of like the pain I would feel in knowing that a kid passed, which is painful, is nothing compared to what they went through. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, it's infinitesimal,
right,
compared to what they did. So me sacrificing to be there and experience that hurt, I'd take 1,000,000 hurts. Mm-hmm. If I could save one life by taking every single hurt of that one, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Like, but life doesn't work that way. And it's not like it doesn't hurt. I'm not a robot. When I heard that, you know, one of the first kids that I met passed, I didn't even think it was a possibility. I didn't even consider it. I thought that, you know, after I saw her, that she would go on, because that's just how it happens. You know, people don't consider it. And then I mean, just then it changes you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It changes you. A lot of things in YouTube has changed me in that way, where realizing that the people on the other side, their lives continue on. Like the intersection between like a comment bridging their life with my life is brief and tiny. And on the scales that we have with YouTube, it's impossible to fathom the amount of just life that goes on without us. And like that connection is no less real because of the tiny nature of that connection. Their entire life encapsulated in that moment for us, but for them, it means the world to them. And recognizing that every single person has their own life, their own story, their own connections, their own tragedies, really makes me try to put that in perspective for myself all the time with what I do. And I think that, you know, the world would be a better place if more people did that. But also, I'm not exactly like the best about keeping up with people. I get that. Because of the nature of who I am, I get swept up in so many things. I often forget to check in on my friends. Like, that's why I say I'm an asshole, is I think everyone has a baseline level of empathy, and I definitely feel the empathy, and I rationalize the feelings of empathy. But at the same time, I'm really bad at human connection. I'm bad at it. I'm great at speaking. I'm great at getting to know someone. I'm bad at maintaining a connection.
Would you say then, like, if you had to go like gold, silver, bronze, you've got family, work, friends, or is it work, family, friends?
For me, it's work. And I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to change that. It's taken a long time to try to change that. And it's not even like I love working, because I'm no Superman. I get stressed just like everyone else, but it's a compulsion. It's a have to. I have to. And to fight that, it hurts. Mm-hmm. And not hurting the pain that people know, but it feels wrong. It's fighting against my nature, and it's very difficult. But I also recognize the value in it. And I try to emphasize it for people that would listen to me blather on, which you've given me an opportunity to blather, is like, just because you feel uncomfortable doing something, or just because something is against your nature, doesn't mean it's not worth doing. Like, it's the same reason that I would take on that hurt of knowing the Make-A-Wish kit. It's like, because it's infinitesimal compared to the benefit. Mm-hmm. It's nothing compared to the benefit. Like, and I recognize in my life that bridging these connections with people that I care about, like especially my friends and family, especially my girlfriend, like trying to be there when I need to be there, as opposed to obsessing about work all the time or obsessing about my ideas. Like that's the hardest challenge of my life, but it's worth it.
What do you think?
It's necessary.
I mean, yes. I mean, is it for you? Is it this thing where you're like, I'm almost a victim of it, or do you have this fear of what happens if something comes before family? Like what pops up in your brain when there's not a lot of noise happening and you're able to kind of think about it, which may not happen for you?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the default. Yeah. I mean, what comes up is just like the hard lessons that I've learned from losing people, you know, losing friends, losing connections with family member. Like it happens all the time with me, and it happens all the time because I get obsessive. And I recognize the damage that does, you know, for a long time in my past, you know, it's not like I throw people away. I just never work at the relationship and then expect them to be there when I decide I need them. And that's not a friendship, you know,
because you're always kind of player one in the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I get that.
I find that, you know, I have a very kind of like aggressive personality sometimes, and I can come across like very, it's not like I'm an aggressive, angry person, but just like I have a tendency to dominate conversations, and I try to restrict that because I love talking, and I love talking all the time. But, you know, that's a small scale example, but scale that up to every facet of a friendship, and I'm the same way.
Was that what you were talking about earlier? Was that your first experience with a loss or proximity to losing a person, or? Well, if not, what was the first?
Which part?
When you said the first time you learned that one of the kids that you visited for Make-A-Wish passed, was that your first experience, or?
No,
because I've really only lost one person in my life. So whenever it's a topic that's always kind of just interesting to me.
Yeah, I lost my dad when I was in high school, or first year of college, when I was 18. So that was hard loss, but lesson not learned from that. Definitely not, because obviously young. Well, I mean, the lesson being, my dad was a great dad, and I had a great relationship with him. But I never worked at that relationship. So what in the years following, way down the road, this is as of 5-6 years ago, I realized I didn't know that much about my dad. I really didn't. I didn't know the stories of his life. Mm-hmm. I didn't know like the trouble he got up to. I didn't know what his career really was. I didn't even know his job fully. I knew he did layout for books, but I never asked. I never inquired. And I realized this, going back through my life, looking back at my past and how I came to be here. I tried to do a lot of introspection and self-reflection, and I realized like, oh, I never tried to know my dad. Never tried. I never once felt the need to. And I don't like regret the life that I had, growing up with my dad. You can't go back and fix mistakes. So I don't live with regrets, but I try to live with lessons that going forward can hopefully help me in the future. And slowly building these lessons has guided me, not perfectly, but towards a better me. And, all I can do is try at that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope you don't feel guilty about that, because that's a very common story where a parent is kind of just this parental figure that like I didn't really think of my dad as a regular person until I think I was like 28 and he smoked weed with me for the first time, and he opened up and we talked about like real things for a second, and I was like, oh my God. And it was that moment that I realized, oh, he's an actual real person. So I think that's normal. But so what did your dad do? Did you say he laid out book or did layouts for books?
He did layout design for like computer books. Yeah. So I forget, old books from programming and like small programs that were on like Windows 3.1 or 95 or stuff like that, old computer books. And then before that, he was like a career army guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't know much about that because he never talked about those times, which, I can understand. He actually fought. So I'd understand that he didn't want to talk about that very much. But later on, if he had lived longer, maybe we could have shared a few beers like you had weed. I don't regret any of it. I don't want anyone to worry. Like I don't live with regrets, or I try not to as much as I can. But yeah, it's lessons. It's lessons that I have to try to apply in the future. And if I don't learn from the lessons, it's my loss.
Yeah. And what's a Mama Markiplier like?
Oh God, she's hilarious. Yeah, but like it's so unfair because every time I do a video with her, she's funnier than me, and everyone knows it, and it's just not fair. Like her Instagram is the most hilarious Instagram I've ever seen of anyone, and she's effortless at being funny, and it's just like I'm so jealous. But our relationship used to not be so good, but it's much better now. So
what did it change once you moved out?
Oh well, she and my dad got divorced early on. Mm-hmm. Long story. Divorced as a young kid, 2 Christmases, whatever.
Young? How young were you?
8 or something.
That's actually kind of a hard age.
Well, for me, tell that to my 4th grade advanced English teacher, Miss.
What did Miss do? What did Miss?
Change the name, Mrs. No, I distincly remember whatever her name ends up being when you
she called you 2 Christmases, Mark.
No, she pulled me aside because I was doing poorly in school, and I like did a really bad book report because I just made up shit. And she pulled me aside. I was like, I know your parents are going through a divorce, but I'm going through a divorce too, and it's not that bad, so you pull it together, because I was bringing the class average or some bullshit like that. I don't remember.
Oh, shit. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I hated her.
I wonder if there still have to be teachers that are that rough and bad that they go, because there's part of me that like I would hear stories about how like my mom's teachers were, and it's just like, oh, that was a nightmare. I grew up early on with in a Catholic school, and like I remember getting like grabbed by the collar, crazy shit, like shit that it'd be on the news now, and wow. I'm going through a divorce, so you need to suck it up, Mark.
Yeah, it's
Read
not
the
that
book.
bad. The streamlined divorce process she's going through real easy.
But wait, so you're young. There's a divorce, but then wait, so did you kind of bounce back and forth, or did you live with one? Because that's always.
Oh no, my dad had custody, so I did get to grow up with my dad, and then we visited my mom every other weekend. So after my dad passed, I actually still had a great relationship with my stepmom, still do to this day. Yeah, love her to death. Then I lived with my mom for a bit during college, and then my YouTube career, and then I moved out here to LA, and haven't seen her in a while. COVID and all that.
Yeah. How's that been treating you? Have you been, because you still, I mean, you're still putting out content. Well, actually, I mean, you don't have Unus Annus, but I know that you always have secret projects. So how has that changed in the age of COVID?
I'm an introvert, so I never really left anyway, but that's a cliche excuse that everyone says. Like I suffer from the beneficial effect of being able to entertain myself. I'm good on my own. I can last probably I would do great at that astronaut training where they isolation chamber you. But even I'm getting a little want to go outside. I miss movies.
Well, okay. I will say, 1,000% I miss movies because like finishing a show early and then like running over to the ArcLight and just being by myself in a room and enjoying something for 2 hours like that. That was so great. But I want to know, once there's a handle, how much of this is us telling stories to ourselves? Like that we're gonna go out and continuously enjoy the company of other people, even if that wasn't the case beforehand. Because
I'm not going to enjoy the company of other people. No, God, I go to movie theaters by myself.
Okay, yeah.
What are you talking about? I go to restaurants by myself, shamelessly. I don't give a fuck. Unless Amy and I were going out on date night, that's very different. Of course, that's different. But if I'm trying to get time by myself, I want to be in public by myself. I want to be doing my own thing by myself. Very difficult when you're a YouTuber and people come up and say hi. I don't have a problem with that. Come say hi to me. But I'm also going out because I just want to walk around, clear my head. I want to sit in a cold room and watch a big screen with flashing lights. That's all I want.
Yeah, I miss it. That's I've talked shit about the movie theater industry when I felt like they were trying to open up a little bit too early. But like, I don't want all these places to go bankrupt because like it's great that HBO Max is releasing movies, but it's a different experience.
It's not the same.
Yeah. It's completely.
It's just not.
I might have enjoyed Wonder Woman if it was with people. If there was a crowd there.
I haven't seen Tenet yet, and I'm like hoping that some of these movies that I really want to see will be re-released when like everyone is vaccinated. Like I want that. I want to see that in theaters.
Mark, are you the only successful YouTuber that doesn't have a theater in their house?
No, I know that a lot of YouTubers get that same cookie cutter house. I've seen it in so many people's videos. It's all white walls and this all has a movie theater in the basement.
Sure.
I know this because I've toured to house shopping many of these same goddamn houses. Yeah. It's the same one in every video. But no, I don't have a theater. Does anything in here look fancy to you? I don't.
This easy transition, because I saw you talking about this with like raising money for charity, and you talked about what is your relationship to money, Mark? Like, do you hate it? Do you just not see the value in it? Do you see it as a tool? I am interested in this.
Okay, all right. Here's the thing. I talk about this a lot actually recently. Okay. Money is meaningless.
Then give it away, Mark. Give it to all your viewers if it doesn't matter.
I did not say useless. I did not say useless, but it's meaningless, right? Mm-hmm. People apply meaning to it, but natively it means nothing. Very useful, and it's only useful because we believe it's useful. And that's the whole basis of trade and economy. And on a macro scale, minor scale, macro scale, whatever. It's just People believe that it's a certain value and that's what it is. And I always go back to those rocks. You know what I mean? The rocks.
Walk me through this.
The rocks, the rye stones. They're 8,000-pound rocks, right? An island country, I don't remember the name of it, but their currency was 8,000-pound rocks, right? You couldn't really move them. Like, you would trade with them, though. I have rock. I also have a bushel of vegetables. Do you want it? Or you have a bushel of vegetables. I have a rock. And I'm like, I want that bushel of vegetables. And you would go, how much rock you got? And I go, 1 rock. And you'd be like, oh, hell yeah, take my vegetables. And we wouldn't even have to move the rock. You would go, that's my rock now. And I would go, everybody, that's his rock now. And then that's exchange. And that's exactly what happens today. When you look at your numbers in your phone for your bank that exists, you look at the numbers and they're rocks. And I go to you, I'm like, oh, I owe you 1 number for dinner the other night. And you go like, oh, hell yeah, it was 1 number, all right, idiot. And I send you the number and you're like, yeah, I got it. Thanks for the number. And I go, you're welcome. Thanks for the food. And same thing, right? It's the exact same thing. People think that the 8,000-pound rock idea is crazy, but the system we use today, when's last time you used a dollar bill, right?
Right, yeah.
Especially now, I buy everything through my phone with magic numbers that show up because of the other numbers I get on YouTube. I get a lot of YouTube numbers. I get a lot of money numbers in exchange for those YouTube numbers. You know what I mean? It's all numbers. It's all rocks. Yeah, everything's rocks all the way down, man.
Oh, wow.
It's all rocks.
You're taking turtles all the way down to that. I like that. So, but I mean, okay. Because I will agree that I think a lot of the way that people talk about money, it's like, it's kind of dumb, right? But then, so if you have that relationship with it, I guess, why would you do things like launch the clothing brand? Is that more of a creative thing, or is it the numbers still matter and there's utility and so it enables things? What is it?
My manager thought of that idea.
Oh my God.
What?
That should be the tagline for Cloak.
I like it. It's a good outlet for clothes, but that was my manager's idea.
Yeah.
And he said, like, hey, you should launch a clothing company. I'm like, why? And he was like, it could be very successful. I'm like, okay, you could launch your own clothes that you want to wear. And I'm like, I like that idea. I like the thing where I make what I want to wear. And then I was on board.
So those magical numbers, they in no way do they control your sense of success or failure or worth?
Not mine, but
that's
I recognize
great. That's the healthiest thing I've ever heard from a person. And I actually feel like you're being honest about it.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I be? But I also recognize that, like, say, making a company like the clothing company is good because it allows other people to sustain themselves.
Right.
Like, I'm a big proponent of job creation and paying people what they're worth. Like, that's my big thing. Like, my editing team, I try to make sure they are compensated exceptionally well. I try to beat other YouTubers' offers just because I want to keep them on board. And how dare anyone try to offer them? But I also give them, like, good healthcare because I know that it doesn't matter, like, how healthcare would affect my bottom line on my business. Yeah. That's stupid profitable. Get them the best healthcare. It's a no-brainer for me. So it's not like I don't care about money. I recognize its value. But for me, what do I need? I'm able to buy a $20 meal delivered to my house 2 times a day, and that never hurts me. That's enough. Why would I ever need more? The fact that I do that is a waste, but I can do that because my YouTube channel is large and successful. I don't need more. I have a Tesla. I don't need anything else. That shit's great. You know, like why do I need 2 cars, let alone the one? The one is like, it's same thing. The food every day delivered is an excess that doesn't hurt me at all. And I recognize that, and I'm able to do that. And in the COVID days, I have no apology for it because I need delivered anyway. But like, same with the Tesla, like, it's an excess, but that's it. And after that, what do I buy? Some video games, like some computer hardware? What do I do with the rest of my money? I just throw it into a stock hole. I let my accountant go stock crazy, and then suddenly more money appears. That's the most insane thing.
That is the most insane thing to me.
You have money, and money just makes more money. What is that money doing? like, I get it with like the companies and stuff. That money definitely gets money to other people so that they can pay their bills and feed their family and feed themselves and hopefully get them something that they enjoy as any sort of a thing that they want because it's their money. But when you throw money into a stock hole and what is it doing? What is it doing in there? It's like I don't get honey. How does honey make any money? I don't get it. You know?
Well, I know how.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up. I think there's something very suspicious about honey. I think there's something.
Have they ever sponsored you?
No, I would never.
Let's go,
I
Adam.
I would never. Not their blood money. No way. Something shady going on.
You're gonna get a cease and desist from this.
Hey, free speech. I can criticize them if I want.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not blood money. I don't know what they do. Legally, distinctly, maybe there's something wrong, but I have no proof.
No, honey.
I got a feeling.
Honey's the reason that I never offer coupon codes because it completely fucks me. I'm just like, oh well, there went 20% of my profits because everyone got a fucking plugin. Great. I need to be more PC friendly so I can get these YouTube deals. And or have any motivation to do anything other than the two things that I do.
Hey, keeping life simple is a godsend.
That's kind of part of the goal at this point.
My life is so fucking chaotic all the time. I was just getting on top of it, and then I broke my foot, and I'm so pissed because I was 1 week away from getting ahead on everything. I was like super motivated, super focused, and then I broke my foot, and this whole week has been a wash. Like.
But I feel like you're living, and I don't mean this in the monetary sense. I feel like you're living a 1% of a 1% life. I saw a TikTok, so that means that it's 100% accurate, but it said that 98% of your life is habit, right? And so I'm going to just take that as fact, that you just do the same thing. And for a lot of people, it's like, right, you wake up, you choose a food, you go to work, you come back, you do a personal thing. You essentially do the same things on repeat. You have your weekend things and stuff like that. But it sounds like thanks to pure chaos and your body betraying you constantly, you are living a uniquely unique life.
I wouldn't say that. There's still habits, but the habits are like, they're less about regimented schedule. They're mostly just about returning to doing certain things. And it's behavioral habits as opposed to like organizational habits. Because my life is very chaotic, but I will often find myself falling into these loops of default activity. Like writing in my notebook is one of my default activities that is inherently unproductive because most of the time when I'm writing, I'm not writing about the things that I should be working on. Like I need to do a lot of writing and typing writing, like script writing, is not helping me here. So I'll find myself falling into those loops a lot. But that's absolutely true. I find most of your life is habit.
I find writing stuff down though, like, I don't know, like I'll type things out, but there is something different. It feels better. It feels like I'm actually getting, sometimes it's good ideas, sometimes just poison in my head.
Well, yeah, but that's okay, right?
Yeah,
because if it's in your head, it's stuck. It's not real. I'm a big proponent of if you have an idea, make it real as soon as possible. And the best way to make it real is writing in a book, because then there's tangible proof that you made that idea. It doesn't matter if it's just in words, the idea is out and the idea exists. And, it doesn't matter if you follow up on the idea. It's just out of your head and then you get another perspective. I mean, if you look constantly and the idea's in your head, you're only looking at it this way. You need to look at it this way before you can decide if it's good or bad.
Yeah. Mark, we're gonna shift to some questions from people that follow you. Are you ready?
Great. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I bet I've heard these never.
Okay, so we'll go.
Original
okay,
questions.
well, so we'll do it. So you're like, okay. So if it sucks, I'm gonna blame your fans. How dare they? They're horrible.
I blame my fans all the time.
Okay, so we can turn it into a quickie section then if it's just repeating.
It's fine.
Mark. Compare the internet in the early 2010s to the internet now. Has YouTube changed? What are the biggest differences? And maybe you can even make it specifically about being a creator in the space.
Honest truth, I didn't watch YouTube very much in the 2010 era.
Yeah.
In the 2010s, like the teens of YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely... Is it really that different, though? All it really comes down to is algorithmical changes. Like, what type of content is being pushed to the forefront, because the one thing you can say about YouTube is that the experience has been very consistent as far as like watching. So there's really no change there. But I would say it's just defined in eras of content, going all the way back to like reply girl type stuff was probably the earliest things that I was dealing with when I was first starting.
Yeah.
To gaming content really surging, which was beneficial to me, to there was a time when animation was very, 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 very profitable and useful. It was pushed a lot, and then there was the drought of animation, and now the resurgence of animation as of a few years ago, and kind of leveling off.
The animation I feel like died when vlogs became like the go-to.
Yeah, vlog era. That was one of the eras that I was not in any way a part of. I did vlogs, of course, but yeah, vlog era was interesting. Daily vlogs, like
it was a fun way to watch people snap.
I know, right? God, when you're documenting your life every day, I mean, I'm doing daily videos myself. It's stressful enough, but documenting your entire life and trying to make every day of your life more interesting than the last, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
There's no way that it could have ended well. Yeah. Some people did, but then you have like families that are just trying to come up with content, poking their kids with a stick. Come on, be funny.
It's weird. Yeah, I know. Even that is like, I try to figure out what's the right amount of allowing my kid to appear online. Because there's some weird shit. I think I talked about it on a live stream, but my wife found this, someone sent her a page where someone was like using photos of our kid and saying it was their kid. And it's like, and it's so fucking weird. It was so weird. And they were like catfishing this person. It was so weird. Anyway, Mark, are you comfortable with the idea of being someone's hero?
I'm fine with that. I don't like hero worship myself, but if I think hero is just another word for inspiration, like you looked up to someone for inspiration, and I find a lot of value in inspiration. I think inspiration is one of the most valuable currencies mankind has ever done.
Who's someone that's been inspirational for you now, or when you were getting your start?
I really couldn't tell a lot of names when I started. Like I watched like Freddie W, Quarter Crew. I like the really cool like special effects stuff. I thought they were technically very interesting, and like it was so captivating to see that some small team could make some really, really fantastic effects. And I've actually had a chance to meet some of the Corridor people. I've met Freddie. Getting to work with some of these people is just like such a treat now. But nowadays, like my inspirations are. I don't really look to YouTube for a lot of inspiration for things.
Right.
Because I'm so much better than everyone else. And mostly just because like I've kind of tapped what I wanted to do on YouTube to an extent. So when I'm pushing my other projects, I look to other sources for inspiration. Like Choose Your Own Adventure is like an entirely different field. Trying to push into movies is an entirely different field. I have to look at directors and cinematographers for inspiration, stuff like that. General inspiration like is a different field. Did you watch? I'm sure you did. You remember when the two Falcon boosters came down, SpaceX, like they came down and landed on the pad simultaneously. I think about that video all the time because that's a different level of inspiration. I'm not saying Elon's my hero. I think Elon's like fantastic dreamer, like visionary dude, kind of a weirdo, but hey, aren't we all? I'm a fucking weirdo. Sure. Like we're all human, but the accomplishment itself, the fact that there were two reusable boosters in doing something I never imagined could be done. And I think that's the key. It's something I never even imagined was possible. Seeing it real in front of me changes a person. It changes you. It changes your entire perception of reality and what can be. So if someone looks at my stuff and gets even a slim iota of that out of what I make, sure, I'm fine with me being a hero. But also, never hero worship. They'll always disappoint you, just like I will if you ever meet me.
I think that's healthy. That's honestly a healthy thing to say. Mark, what do you think about gotcha culture taking over social media? Not cancel culture, but people going out of their way to comb through years of tweets, videos, other content to find gotcha clips.
I don't know. I don't really experience this very much. Most of the time when people gotcha me, it's that picture of me after I shaved my head. And they're like, what the fuck is this, bald-aplier? And they're like, that's me. That's pretty much it. I feel like people like to involve themselves in things and feel justified, like I have no judgment on the psychology behind it because I don't know enough about psychology to even make a judgment about it. But people like to feel right. Well, that's kind of a human thing. People want to feel right. People want to feel like they've done good. People want to feel like they've corrected something wrong in the world. So it's just an extension of that, but to an extreme level. When you get behavior like that, it's part of a feedback loop where they get like a rush of dopamine, of feeling like they're justified and right, and it's self-fulfilling. So they go looking for it more and more, and they chase that feeling of justification. And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's just whatever, pointless, like people showing me the bald picture. They do that for the meme, but like I can't speak to it because I'm not an expert on the subject. Right. But that's what I would guess is just like I have no opinion. This is what I just think it is.
Sure. Mark, are you actually a masochist?
No, oddly enough, no. A serious answer to this question I get all the time is like I legitimately am not a masochist. I don't like pain, but I like knowing that I can handle something. Case in point, when I broke my foot, that was extremely painful. I would not want to go through that again, but because I've gone through pain like that before, I knew that it wouldn't kill me. I knew that I would be fine because my girlfriend was with me at the time, thankfully, and she was stressing because she was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And I was like, "I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to let this pass because I know it'll pass eventually and I'll get through it." Like a few months ago in December, I was in the hospital with abdominal pain because I had another blockage. Though there was a whole Twitter thing about me pooping.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I learned about it because you were trending on Twitter.
Everyone learned about it.
I was
not what I wanted.
I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Look, it's
like when you talk about those fucking rockets landing. That's how the fucking internet reacted when you were like, it passed.
No, but it's like I knew that number one, Amy was not home at the time. Mm-hmm. I knew that I could get myself to the hospital. I knew that I needed to get myself to the hospital. Not only did I know that I could handle it, I knew what it was, so I knew that I needed to take care of it very quickly. There's many times in people's lives when they have a problem and they don't take care of it. Hence me appendectomy that I needed a long time ago. I almost didn't go to the hospital because I didn't know what it was, and I was just like, "Oh, this fucking hurts," but I guess I'll be fine. If I didn't go, it would have exploded.
Yeah,
I would have been in a lot of trouble. It's not masochism. It's just an acceptance that pain is different than being in danger, and knowing the difference is important to me, and knowing what I'm able to handle as a representative of the maximum amount of pain. I want to get a good idea of what I can tolerate. Also, I'm a fucking badass and I can take anything. Try me. You take that bat. You try to hit me. I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me.
Okay, just sign the piece of paper that I'm going to send to you. And then we'll do it.
No signatures. No, come on.
Hit me. Just do it. I'm just going to use this in the court of law. When it happens, I'll be like, he didn't say when or if he knew when it was going to come.
No, I'm not one for lawsuits. You can trust me.
Those are dangerous words.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. I just wanted to take a second to thank one of the fantastic sponsors of today's episode of A Conversation with, Skillshare. No matter what 2021 brings, you can spend it creating something meaningful with Skillshare's online classes. Skillshare is an online learning community with millions of members and thousands of classes. Take a class, connect with others. A premium membership gets you unlimited access to high-quality classes on topics such as music production, photography, or even how to increase productivity. I know I've said it before, but my all-time favorite on Skillshare has got to be Gary Vaynerchuk's Context is Key social media strategy in a noisy online world. And if you want to check out that one, for example, it is just under 90 minutes of Gary sharing the same tactics and social media strategies that he's used over the years to grow huge brands like GE, PepsiCo, and even the New York Jets. And if that doesn't interest you, there's also a ton to learn from understanding and investing in crypto to art of ceramics, web design, graphic design, photography, and more. Skillshare really does have it all. And the best part, Skillshare is super affordable. Their annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/DeFranco and get a free trial of a Skillshare premium membership. That is Skillshare.com/DeFranco. So yeah, go check it out, enjoy it, love it, and back to the podcast.
Mark, what is a game? And I'm gonna say that I don't mean this in a success way because I feel like you'll say Five Nights at Freddy. What is a game that most drastically changed your life, and it can be for better or worse? And I would say maybe it's just like it had an impact on your life.
So probably when I was a kid, was playing this game called Homeworld, and I don't know if you've ever played it. Have you?
I've only watched videos of people playing it.
The original Homeworld, it left a mark on me, both in terms of like the kind of music that I enjoyed, because it was just captivating orchestral pieces, and I don't really listen to music casually, but I love scores of music. I love soundscapes, and I love that kind of stuff. And just like my love of space emanates from that game, because it was bigger than any game I've ever seen in my life. Because I think it came out in 99, 99, 98. But, the games back then weren't high fidelity.
Sure.
But this was just a void of space. You could see planets in the distance. You could like orbit things. It was all 3D. And even then at that point was pretty interesting. And combined with the sound, the story, it was nearly perfect. I could go back and I could find flaws, but for me as a kid, that was the most perfect experience. It was the same as seeing those Falcon boosters. I'd never imagined something like that was possible. Not just like a game that could do that, but the world that the game could bring me into was completely different. A game that changed me for the worst was World of Warcraft. Sucked me in, sucked me dry. I wasted many years on that game that I could have been doing amazing things,
When did it get to a point you were like, no, I'm putting it down, I'm putting it away?
World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
When I got a job, well, not a job, like a part-time job. I actually worked in engineering co-op, and I had to like be there 10 hours a day, and and there really wasn't time, and I started being like, okay, maybe it was important.
Oh, because you are a smart boy, right? You almost graduated with a engineering degree.
Be careful with those words, calling me smart in the same sentence. You'll get people coming after you. I went to engineering school, yes, biomedical engineering.
And is that something that you always thought that you wanted to do, or was it something that your parents were like, this is the smart move?
Engineering, smart move, safe move. That was it. I didn't really want to do it, but I also wasn't bad at it, so whatever. I could do math.
Hey man, the world needs more. Hey, I would rather kids want to be engineers rather than fucking one of us.
That's the tragedy of today. Because if someone asks me if they want to be a YouTuber, I'll be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, chase your dream. But also learn things, because that's important. Because I would tell people, logically speaking, me and Amy had this conversation. Logically speaking, if I went to someone, I'd be like, look, college may not be the smartest choice for you, but also don't be dumb, because it's like education is important. You don't have to go to a college to get an education. I learned so much outside of it, but also I got a fundamental education, and it's important to understand critical thinking is very essential, but you don't need to go to college or school to get that. But also that's not an excuse to just skip out of college and then never apply yourself. Like it's a conundrum. It's a problem, because like learning how to learn is a very important skill, and learning that you always need to learn is an important piece of information. Those conclusions may not be reached in a world where things like YouTube exist that allow for career paths that don't necessarily require a brain. I'm not calling out any other YouTubers, but I think we can all agree there are some fucking dumb YouTubers out there.
Yeah.
And hey, more power to them if they chase the game. As I said before, I'm never against anyone playing the game, but I don't want idiots in my game. You know what I mean? I want generation to be smarter than the last one. And if people don't learn, they'll never be smarter. But you don't need school to learn, but just have the self-drive to crutches. Have the drive to always chase knowledge, whether it's because you can tackle the YouTube problem better if you can think your way through problems. Every moment in YouTube or whatever is an opportunity to problem solve. That's what humans are very good at. So if you want to get better at YouTube or more successful at TikTok or whatever it is, you gotta be smart. You gotta know how. Yeah, big brain. Listen to Matt Pat. That guy's smart, right? He's smart, right? It's not an act, right?
At least he tricked us into it.
He's actually smart. Is he?
Whenever I talk to him, I always leave going, I feel like I learned something, and he's also a nice guy.
Is that true though?
I think so.
Is he really? I've always I've always suspected things.
I mean,
he's the honey of YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. He's lovely. No one, please cut that and put that in or leave it in. I don't care.
No,
whatever.
I mean, but lovely. But on that note, I mean, it was something that stood out to me, and it was something I think that people that made it to like an hour 50 minutes into the Belle Delphine podcast, she was like, people only talk about and notice the people that succeeded. Right. No one's talking about the million people that didn't become Markiplier. Right. That's not in the New York Times. That those people aren't going on Seth Meyers and they're like, I aimed for my dreams of being a YouTuber and it didn't work out. He's like, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's weird because it's very it's in a way it's kind of paternal. Like you want people to be happy and shoot for the fucking skies, but you also don't want to be the one that gave them a nudge off the fucking cliff.
Yeah, it's a really fine line because I don't know where you're at in terms of creation, not you specifically, but you know, someone watching this.
Siri was just fucking.
Siri, shut up. You're still learning. You got a long way to go.
Siri was like, I'm going to roast this dude. Okay, no, stop. Leave me alone. Stop listening.
What was I said? Yeah, because like I want people to succeed. I don't get people to get jealous of like the next generation of YouTubers or internet creators or something like that getting more views than the last generation. I am so happy to see that. Like the next generation of gaming YouTubers, like if someone makes choose your own adventures that get more views than me, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because it's paving the road for that. That's the goal. I want more people to succeed even bigger than I ever could have. I want that. But I also recognize that competition for that is going to be really fierce. Extremely fierce. So I want people to realize that not only do they have to be skilled, lucky, they have to be smart. They need all of this. And maybe they'll get more luck than skill or smarts and they'll hit it. Like I was lucky. I'd like to think I'm relatively not dumb. And it's like a combination of taking advantage of opportunities that are in front of you and you may not see all the possible solutions unless you are aware of them. So I want so much more for every creator that desires to be a creator. But I am also realistically looking at it and I'm like, there's only ever so many slots. And the weird thing about the future is, yeah, people get more views, but oddly enough, the attention gets narrower. The focus gets like pressed on these couple of YouTubers or TikTok people. TikTokers?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking old man. TikTokers. It gets focused on a few. And yes, many other will get success, but because of the measures, like the secondary level of like creators is usually about the same from generation to generation, but the few that have peaked are bigger and bigger peaks. And then like it just creates this dissonance, like someone's the 1% and then the 99%. You know?
Yeah, well, but very few people can hold on to it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really fascinated by Mr. Beast's career, right? That's been really, really interesting. Felix, right?
I honestly don't watch any of his videos, but then again, I don't watch many people's videos. Sure. I've never met him. I've chatted with him online, and I always feel bad because I never know what he's working on. Everyone's like, did you see the Mr. Beast video? I was like, I didn't. And I feel like a hipster doing that because it's like, oh, watch his videos. Like, I don't watch anyone's videos. I watch Warhammer 40K lore videos with like 20K views. That's my content. I don't watch the same YouTube that a lot of people do. But
I think that's the thing is I think especially people really don't realize that. I think everyone thinks everyone watches everyone. And it's like, no, people live in regular. I have 2 kids and a wife and I'm just trying to fucking survive. I'm not watching shit. And that's also part of the reason why I like dropped my Today in Awesome segment. I was like, I don't know what's good because I'm not watching anything at all.
Yeah. You could hire someone for that.
Just to watch. Be like,
hip and young is this good? New.
Hey man, to try and make my fucking news work for under 60 seconds, I need to hire someone that's like under the age of 22. I'm like, just do it. Do the thing. But okay, I'm going to finish one last page of these questions. Mark, are you ever worried about calling out YouTube?
No, God, I do it all the time.
I wouldn't think so. I think it would be different if you were smaller because you have like, if you didn't have like the fully turned on faucet of views, it might be different. But I feel like You're shielded because you're you. And I think that's why also it's important that voices like you speak out on it.
I mean, it's for me, it's like I'll call them out when they've done something wrong, but I'm also the first to bat when they've done something right. I feel like people shit on YouTube too much because it's an easy target. And it like I'm also a big proponent of like companies don't care, they're companies. But I also know that people work at companies. The people care. I care about the people behind YouTube. And I recognize what YouTube has done to allow me to have the career and the expression that I do. And I also understand on a fundamental level, even though I disagree with a lot of decisions, why they do the things the way they do. Because they want to create the most fair platform, even though it's not.
But the thing is, their main failures are the way they communicate. Like when you see departments like sometimes completely blindsided and like unable to explain why certain things are happening, they're like, I don't know.
What? That's an internal problem.
And it's also because they're so massive.
Yeah, it's a scale. How do you talk to everyone? Like even the CEOs of Google and YouTube, I don't really consider them to be like visionary leaders in the same way as, to go back again, like Elon Musk, he's clearly the leader of Tesla and his companies. He has a vision and he makes everyone follow that vision. Whereas like say Susan, lovely person, I've met her a few times, great CEO, businesswoman, fantastic at what she does. However, you cannot connect YouTube's direction to her vision. Not on its surface anyway. I would not say that she is the pioneering leader of YouTube, pushing forward her vision no matter the cost, which is what I think of when I think of like a true connected leader. And then everyone under YouTube is not like following lock and step with her vision because the vision is unclear. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a different way to run a company. I'm not saying that Elon Musk is better CEO than anyone else. He has a lot of failings, obviously, but a lot of successes. And it's because when you have a vision, and like me directing my own projects, like I have a vision and I want it done a certain way, and I will accept no substitution except where budget calls for me to accept no substitution. Like it's just different. And I would say that maybe YouTube could benefit from that clear leadership and vision, but I don't know. It works.
What do you think? Well, I was going to say, what do you think? What would that look like if you don't see Susan as that? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you see her as? Like, so is she more managerial in your mindset? Is she more like just kind of keeping things on the rails? Managerial, trying to like, she's trying to think of the business side of YouTube. And I get that. Her priorities are like profitability, future prospects, because in her mind, obviously profitability means security for the creators. That's good. Future prospects of different like advertising companies coming in means better profits for the creators, different integrations for YouTube as a platform in terms of like TV and stuff like that. I can see her connecting threads to allowing like creators to expand into these different aspects that are typically reserved for other systems in Hollywood. So I could see that as being like the business side of things, the brand cast. I get it. Like it's good. But internally, there's not as much focus on the experience of being a creator, the tools of creation, the play box, the sandbox, the methods by which the users can have a more involved role in terms of communities, tools for that. Like trying to get, I tried to work with the membership team for years of like getting features for members and stuff like that, because I believe that the membership system was very strong. I still do. I like the membership system, but there was a lot of ideas that got tossed around over emails for years that just never came to fruition. And it's because they didn't have that clear line that was like, this is the way. If Susan said this was the way for members, get done in months. Do you think YouTube gaming has that figure or has close to it? Because I know as far as like a creator that then became integrated, you have people like Ryan Wyatt, who's been kind of championing YouTube as this like not only gaming destination, but a genuine, not even a Twitch rival, like something that can wildly surpass that and any potential competitors in the future. Do you see that, or no, you think that's still not there? The unified vision part of it? No, I don't think it's there. Okay. I think that the ideas are there, and there are people that want to push the ideas, but that's the main problem is there's just people that want.
And if there was someone with a unified vision, it wouldn't be a want. It would be a get it done. It would be a need. It would be happening. And like the problem is, obviously it's a complex problem to solve. I don't have the solutions for it, and I don't think many people do. But oftentimes the solution is just being like, we're gonna do this. And everyone's going to make it happen, and we're going to try it. And YouTube does that with some things. They're like, this is just the way it is. Mostly unpopular decisions. But
Google
honestly,
Plus.
Yeah, that's totally, man, good for creators. But, you know, it's like, if they were making tools that wanted to, say, compete with Twitch,
right,
surpass Twitch as a gaming destination, like they would have to really start cranking out innovative ideas like Twitch did after it was acquired by Amazon. Let's just give credit where credit's due. They rolled out tons of features, like with expanding gifting subs, and like their bit system got more fleshed out. There was a point system rolled into it, like clips got renovated. A lot of Amazon that Amazon did was bad. Don't get me wrong, but they started going. They were just making shit happen. They were throwing spaghetti at the wall. What didn't work, they peeled off. What didn't work is sometimes still there. I'm not saying it's completely out of flaws, but just feature after feature after feature, a robust tool set for streamers to work with. There are so many tools. If you log into Twitch, I stream on Twitch weekly. You log into Twitch, there's so many tools. There's like polls that I can make. I can make I can let my fans gamble with their channel points. It's baked in there. I can put polls, and I can put predictions where they can predict the outcome of certain things. There's a built-in extension library of things that I can just start putting into my stream. There's so many tools. And where Twitch obviously is going wrong with their DMCA protection is garbage. And this is where kind of YouTube's effort to make the whole content ID system is like, oh, this was the good idea. Whereas before, everyone was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. How dare you? When in reality, you look at what Twitch did and they're like, oh, that was the alternative. Oh, I like YouTube's method better. Yeah. People can kind of see the pluses and minuses, but that's also where communication could come in a little better, where YouTube would have been like, look, it was either this or we take down your video. Like, we chose this. And I'd say in the end, it was a better choice.
It is going to be interesting to see, based off of the efforts made, where these social networks are in the next 3 to 5. Because I think like, obviously it's not what we were talking about, but I think Twitter is becoming a really, really interesting place, with them trying to essentially take Clubhouse's thing and Facebook groups. Like, I'm like, is that something that can thrive? Was that what happens? Is the future of YouTube? Is this shorts play that they're trying to like dabble with? Is it ill-fated and short, like kind of not the greatest thing? I don't know.
I say, why not? Right?
Just try it.
The worst it could do is waste a month of coder time. You know, at best, it's suddenly successful and more people are using it. And then it's another method of advertising. Like, they have money and financing, so why not spend the resources to try it? Because Clubhouse, I haven't tried Clubhouse, but I recognize that Clubhouse is growing very quickly, and it's a niche. It's interesting, like TED Talks everywhere. That's a great idea. But why not integrate that to your social media? If it could benefit you, why not? Why not? Who cares if it's a ripoff? That's how business works. Let them sort it out.
Sure, it's like, just a question of like, okay, so is Clubhouse just are they this thing now, like fucking Meerkat was, and then they got replaced by a big player. Like, I think they were a streaming service, and so and then they just fight off. I think Twitter is in a different place where it's very politicized. So I think Clubhouse has the ability to thrive even past that, though they might become a thing they're not comfortable with, at least today, but we'll see.
I don't know how it's used today. The only reason I say like go for it is because I'm also of the mind that the original will always succeed. But if you're just asking from a business standpoint, it doesn't always. Obviously, say, there's many other cases, like with Snapchat getting Instagram, like copying everything, stuff like that. But Snapchat's still
Snap's like coming back up. It's really interesting.
Exactly.
It's really interesting.
Come back down.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for like people remixing ideas and stuff like that. I want to see what kind of other innovations can happen. Like there's a fine line, right? There's intellectual property, and then there's like restricting innovation. There's a fine line. I'm not a legal expert. I don't know. All I do is make my shit, but I also know that the majority of my content is me reacting to video games that other people have made. So I recognize that there's a balance, and I got to make concessions where concessions are due.
When you're consuming stuff, I know that you mentioned earlier that you think the content is kind of, I think maybe you said the attention is getting narrower and narrower. Are you finding that you're also consuming content that's smaller, or are you still? Because I mean, obviously you have the podcast and you have your videos, which don't necessarily lend themselves to a small consumption time.
I mean, I don't often have much time these days to consume content. So usually
no TikTok right before bed.
I tried it for a bit. Like there's some funny stuff on there. Whatever their algorithm is for sending videos to me is fantastic. I don't know what it's doing, but it's very good. If I'm consuming something, I usually, this is going to sound very boring, but whatever I'm trying to learn, I'll usually try to find content about that thing. And the great thing about YouTube is it makes learning new concepts very entertaining most of the time if you can find the right video. So that's my entertainment.
No, I mean, honestly, that's primarily how I use YouTube. It's like, how do I do this thing? How do I fix this thing? I'm like 50-year-old just like looking for how-tos. That's it.
Dude, when the whole GameStop thing was going down, I tried to learn how options work because I had no idea. Man, oh, dude, what a nightmare world.
That's what every
chaos.
That's what every YouTuber needs to switch over to now. Is just fucking launch finance channels. Anytime Graham Stephan, I know we don't care about money that apparently on this podcast, but they're CPMs, motherfucker. Are you serious?
Wait, what?
Finance channels? It's like some of these places have
their CPMs are crazy.
Some of them have like $100 CPMs.
That makes sense. I believe that. Because of
it's
course,
super niche.
The conversion of someone signing up for what do I see all the time? Bleep this out because I never want to give him promo. But I see eToro commercials all the time.
You mean public.com/Phil or no? Publicphil.com?
Oh yeah, Public. Yeah, I saw your tweet about that, and I was like, Public. I saw Justine tweeting about this. I was like, a social media for stocks. God, people could see me lose money so fast. I was just like, that's terrible.
Well, see, I will say, and obviously transparency. I'm now an investor, but I like it because they don't even have day trading tools, like which I feel like it feeds into the gambling nature of it. Like I'm actually like, okay, I'm putting this here. Whenever it matters, I'll take back. But yeah, it's an interesting time, man.
I get that. Yeah, that's cool. Cool that you're an investor. I'm like, good for you, man. Is it good? Should I get it? Do you have a promo code?
No, I mean, even if you didn't use my thing, but you say you have money people, like, so you probably wouldn't get any joy out of it, right?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Then sign up. Why not?
Look, I do browse Wall Street bets. Some of the YOLO bets that they do, they're pretty appealing. I could YOLO some money.
Here's the thing. I will say it's very amusing to watch, but I do get like very, very angry when I see creators pushing shit. Like, because it comes back to that mindset of like, okay, you want them in on the ride with you, but you're just profiting off of them. Someone's going to end up holding that bag.
Yeah, exactly. That I do feel bad for that, especially during the GameStop stuff, because I was watching all that. Just like when it hit, like fucking, what
was
did
almost
it
like 500 or it hit 500. Right?
It went pretty close to 500, and I just imagined because it was right back down, and I'm like, oh my god,
let's look at what it's at today.
The people that bought,
at
500 and just saw it plummet back down, like that's the kind of shit that loses people's houses.
Well,
and that's what's it at?
Well, no, so because it jumped, so it had gone down, I think, to like 50 or 40, and then earlier this week when we were recording it, who knows when it's by the time this fucking video goes up, but it had gone up to about 200, and then now it's at like 98, and I'm like, this is why in my video I say, I wish you luck if you're touching it, but I don't want to be on this roller coaster because like I need things that I can count on, and every time I feel like I've missed out and I want to jump in, it's always been a bad choice. I just from the option videos that I watched, if I did anything, I would lose my money so fast. Have you ever seen the GA video? Like they link it on Wall Street Bets. Somehow this guy managed to leverage, I don't know how specifically, but he managed to leverage his money way more than the app should have allowed him to. So he was leveraged up to like 50 times. Oh, is he like,
and then
margins?
Yeah, he like put a deposit, got a free instant deposit, leveraged that one, bought another security to get another deposit to buy. He did this like 5-10 times, got 50 times his leverage, put it all on like this risky ass bet. And he was looking at his phone. He recorded it with like his face in there. And you just see this number go blip, blip, and like all of his money gone in one tick. And you just hear him go, it's so funny, but so sad because it's just like this poor idiot had no idea what he was doing. Guys out there, I'm not a financial investor. This guy might be, but look, be careful with your money.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason I stay away from it is, I get this if it's something that I'm like trying to jump on something really quick, I know I get the same rush if I do it with $100 than if I did it with 100,000, which is horrible. But I know the down of me losing that 100,000 is far different than if I lost that 100. So that's why I also stay away. And if I do something, it's like fuck around. But then the problem is when it does do well, and you're like, oh wow, I 5x'd. No. You're like, my life could have been slightly different. My year could have been.
Just go to the casino. Just go to the casino. If you're old enough to gamble and you need that rush, go to the casino. But then if you have a gambling problem, get some help. Like for me, I'm okay.
What do you have in your life that gives you a rush? We'll get
a smile on people's faces when they enjoy a new video of mine when it comes out.
And I'm closing the laptop.
Nah, I mean,
when was the last time? When was the last time your heart was pumping, and not because you were working out?
This is sad.
You're like, I just always have a very calm heart rate, and I don't do anything that tests me to the limits.
I mean, now that I'm doing more self-reflection, I should. Hey, what's your promo code on public? I need some excitement in my life.
No, that's not what that's for. Anyway.
Look, if this turns into the legacy where I make a public account and it's all public, people can see my trades, right?
Well, you can choose to share it or not.
People can see. I will share it. People will see my demise real time.
But it is interesting because when it's public, when you sell, people can see like what your positive or negative was as far as percentage. They never show like the dollar amount, but. I don't know.
Can you select that option? Can I let people see the dollar?
Just alienate everybody. Just like, no.
Alienate? No, they'd gather around to watch me ruin my life. Look, people love a train wreck. I'm willing to provide that.
You're willing to be that? Okay. So that's So let's do that. We're gonna start a new channel together. We're gonna do risky bets, and then we just see who's more up or more down each week. Boom.
That's actually a fantastic idea.
I'm stealing it right now, even though I came up with it.
Well, you came up, okay.
Hey, it's me again, interrupting myself to tell you about one of the fantastic sponsors of today's episode, ButcherBox. ButcherBox is an awesome, customizable delivery service for those that really enjoy high-quality meats at the utmost convenience. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range, organic chicken, wild-caught seafood, and heritage breed pork, all for less than $6 per meal. Personally, I love trying to cook more myself as I get back on track with my health goals. I sometimes just making some burgers in the backyard on the weekend with the family, or preparing for a nice home-cooked seafood meal for myself. ButcherBox comes in clutch. And it couldn't be simpler. Just choose your box and your delivery frequency. They offer curated boxes for those that wish to be surprised, or a custom box for those that know exactly what they want. And ButcherBox ships directly to your home, and the items are frozen at the peak of freshness and packed in an eco-friendly 100% recyclable box. And you can cancel anytime with no penalty. They also source from farmers and fishermen who meet the highest quality standards, raising their animals humanely and treating our planet with some respect in the process. And best of all, for 1 week only, new members will get 2 pounds of ground beef in every order for the lifetime of their membership. Plus, shipping is always free, so just go to butcherbox.com/DeFranco to get started today. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
I'm gonna switch to cards. We're getting out of your fan questions because I just noticed a lot of them repeated. Okay, so Mark, when was the time you felt most alive?
Most alive?
Yeah, it could be obviously like the adrenaline pumping. It could be, I don't know. It could be anything.
When I woke up from my surgery, I don't know. I'm like, thank God I'm alive.
It's not over.
I actually cut out a lot of like competitive things out of my life. Not because I don't enjoy them. Like, seriously, I don't play competitive online games because I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like that competitive nature because I can get really competitive and I get angry and I don't like that feeling about me. So I kind of like try to. It's the same thing as with weed or alcohol. Well, alcohol I can't, but with weed is like I don't like feeling out of control, and anger is just another way to be out of control.
So
and
do you not get angry? I know that you said you don't play a lot of video games for yourself anymore, but I mean like during like playing board games, do you not feel competitive when you're playing those?
Yeah, I do. That's the problem. That's the problem. People don't realize this about me is I'm naturally a very competitive, quick to anger person. It is only through a lot of very hard effort that I am not that every day. When I was a kid growing up, I got angry all the time. I would punch my car stereo. I would punch walls. I would do all kinds of stuff like that. It's taken a lot of effort to get me away from that because it's not in my nature. But I know that fighting that is important. Like I don't like that part about myself. So I actively have to change it. And so I kind of tend to stay away from stuff like that.
Except when it's board games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't help it. I like board games, I just don't always play competitive ones.
What's a board game that you think would be that you don't have to hear like 20 minutes of instructions that you think's like that's the game. That's like the best game that you play.
My game? Oh, have you played Nemesis?
I think I've heard you talk about it, but no.
Yeah, Nemesis is a fantastic board game. I think you can finally get it now. It was a Kickstarter game from a while ago. Okay. It's like it's cooperative, slightly competitive. You're on a spaceship and you wake up in your cryopod and you have to like figure out what's wrong with the ship and then complete individual objectives that either clash or don't clash. So it's like objective get back to Mars or get back to Earth, or objective repair the engines or get an alien egg. Also, there are aliens on the ship trying to kill you. It's a very fun game. It's always very stressful. It's always down to the wire at the end of the game. And like my win ratio is usually like 50-50.
Okay.
So it's very fun.
Mark, what are your 3 pet peeves? If you had like 1, 2, 3, what do you think they are?
Number 1, people not living up to their potential. I know this isn't my responsibility to worry about other people, but I hate seeing people waste their potential. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm like perfect about judging people's potential, but I always know when someone's kind of slacking. Number 2, when I'm not living up to my potential, because I hate wasting time. Mm-hmm. I'm a big proponent of like, I don't know how much time I have. So and that's the problem is like, I find myself defaulting to wasting time a lot of writing or like just watching videos or like just sitting around doing nothing. So I get mad when I do that. Third pet peeve.
People who ask questions that involve lists.
Yeah, exactly. What assholes. What?
Well, so what's the last time you confronted someone about not living up to their potential?
I mean, I try not to confront them because then it's kind of a douchebag move.
Is it though? But maybe you're being helpful.
It is. No, a lot of the time it is. Probably the last time was, it was in a video we were making, me and Ethan for Unus Annus. Mm-hmm. We were just like talking to each other honestly about things. And I was like, I want to see you live up to your potential after Unus Annus is over. I want to see you make projects. And he's working on stuff. Like I'm not saying he's not working on stuff, but that's probably the last time I actually openly said it. I'll say it is a pet peeve of mine, but maybe you're not living up to my potential. I'm not going to tell you.
I'm not. I've made peace with it.
You're not filling in quite as much as you
not
did in
anymore.
The past.
But also,
anymore.
I have to find different, like every now and then on a show, I'll find something I'm like, oh, I feel really fulfilled. Like, especially on a show that I can be like more comedic. Cause I was like, oh yeah, that's how I got my start was if I wasn't being a horrible person and attacking somebody, it was just making jokes. And I was like, that made me happy. But what is, actually, I want to ask about that. Like, is that like the closest thing you've had to it's not necessarily a breakup. It's like but is that like the closest thing to a breakup in like you do this thing with Ethan for a year, right? And you're so hyper involved. And then I imagine that's probably not that much the case anymore. What's that like?
Great.
You're like, I can't stand him after a year.
No, it's not so much that. It's it was such a time sink. It was another 40-hour job. We recorded 2-3 days a week. I edited a lot of the videos myself. We rotated who got them uploaded and who did the thumbnail. It's just like it's hours here and there and everywhere. So when that's done, it was It's a lot of free time that I instantaneously filled up with other projects, and now I'm back to busy again, and it's horrible. And I'm like, when will I ever just finish what's on my plate? And that's what I was gonna do, and then I broke my foot. So it's the universe telling me that I'm never gonna be done.
So I know that you seem like you have the plan, you stick to the plan, that's gonna be it. Was there ever a part of you, even if like it was day 3 or maybe it was like day 180, that you were like, maybe there's a reason that we keep this thing going past a year? No. It was,
people ask that all the time. People are like, are you really going to delete it? It's like, yeah.
I mean, I love it as far as like a project, but I imagine but it also, I mean, it seems to make sense because you're not driven by money, which would be kind of the main thing. The success, you know that you're going to have, you don't always know that you're going to have it outside of it, but you can probably guess.
It doesn't even matter to me if my channel dies tomorrow. If people stop watching me, that would not bother me. And this is what, seriously, everyone says that, and I don't get it. If it ends tomorrow, then it ends, then I can do other things.
But you've never truly experienced that. You've gone away, but you know they're there, scratching at the door. You know that there's going to be like a something, but for it to go away, I don't think many of us, other than people that have like unfortunately fallen off, know what that emotionally does to you. Because I've been at points, I remember being at points in my career where I was like, I got this shit so fucking down, and like it was bad because like the ego would get me, and this is years and years ago. But like you don't know what it's like to be in that hole. But for you, I feel like the way that you're talking about of like you do it for yourself. You like the numbers aren't necessarily the thing that matters, and you've probably done so well that if it went away, it's not something that would all of a sudden like super hurt you. But I don't know. You're 1,000% sure?
I feel like the difference is my perspective is fundamentally different. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers or content creators' problems is they hold on too tight. They're not ready to let go. And when you're ready to let go, you're willing to do anything else. Like you're willing to explore different horizons. That's the point of Unus Annus. That's why I wanted to make it, is because I wanted to show people that you can do something completely new, completely different from what I was doing, an entirely like live action, just video a day kind of vlog style, just random challenges, bullshit. And then you can get rid of it and it'll be over. And that was the end, beginning and end. I didn't do YouTube before I did YouTube, and I got along just fine with my life. And I know that when YouTube ends, whenever it does, if it ever does, I will fill the void with other things. Because me as a person, I love creating. It doesn't matter if it's videos. It doesn't matter if it's books or games or companies or whatever. I like making. And if you hold on too tight to what you have now, you will never see what's around the next corner. And so many YouTubers, content creators, just, they're not ready to make that leap. And I'm always ready to make that leap. It's not me being pessimistic. It's just me being real.
No, I mean, I'm letting you say it because I think that's completely valid. I think I'd be fine if it ended, but I think deep down I don't want it to, and that it would hurt me here. But I also think that I feel like that because I've seen and like talked to people that have fallen off and like have said that they wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that's different. I think that's like it's your choice or not, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think that's the defining line, because if people don't want it to end, which is valid, I'm of the mind is like I would be okay if it ends, and that's different than wanting or not wanting. But if people don't want it to end, it doesn't end, that can be very sad. But also, like, it's a freeing experience to come to terms with the idea that it could go away at any time. And also, it's, if you don't want it to go away, it's more motivation, I guess, to really work hard to keep it. But I also feel like it narrows your vision. It keeps you from seeing other possibilities and like exploring who you are. There's something I talk with Amy a lot about, is like, we YouTubers live our lives on camera. We give ourselves to the videos, to the audience. We give pieces of ourselves. At some point, you run out of self to give. That's what happens to daily vloggers. You run out of yourself. You don't have any new experiences to give anymore. You need to live. You need to live. You need to go and live and come back. It doesn't matter if you stop videos then. You can keep videos going with gaming content I can backlog, and then I can go live. And then I can come back with more ideas, experiences, memories, and then I can re-inject that into what I'm doing. And the only way you live is by just trying everything possible. Like, I got a limited amount of time. I've come close to death a few times, not as close as some, but I've come close to death. And I know that time is limited. And I just want to leave as much of a positive impact as I can before I die. And that's my life mission. That's it.
You got me wondering, how do you deal with conflict?
Conflict?
Yeah.
I bulldoze over it till I win.
So someone tells you like, yo, I didn't like that you did that, Mark. Like a person that you care about.
If it's a person that I care about, I'll listen to him. If like, this is another part of me that apparently is weird in the YouTube circle. I don't give a fuck what anyone says about me online.
Sure.
I don't give two shits. But if someone that I care about says something, then I stop. Then I listen because they know me, or at least I think they know me. The difference is like not so much I'm like, ooh, fuck you. Everyone else is like, you're allowed to say whatever you want about me because at the end of the day, you don't really know me. I know me. But if someone who I trust, it could be someone in the community that I trust or something like that, like they say something to me, I listen and I reflect. And if that happens, then yeah, it'll affect me. But also just like at the end of the day, like I've said before, I'm kind of an asshole, so I'll just bulldoze over.
Has that always been the case, or did that kind of just happen over time?
It's a part of the self-reflective journey. We're all assholes down deep.
Yeah.
We're all saints and we're all devils. Whatever.
Yeah, no, whenever anyone's like goes out of their way and be like, you just seem like the perfect blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I still have to be an asshole at times. And it's not a fun thing, but yeah. What is the greatest gift that someone has ever given you, Mark?
Gift? The gift of life my dad gave me when he sent me out of his balls. I don't know. Greatest gift. Jeez. It's all these philosophical questions.
Well, I'm also interested because a guy in your position probably hears the terms, oh, you're so hard to buy for too much.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, Amy's so good at getting gifts.
God, she's like, I just know you.
She'll get like thoughtful gifts, practical gifts, like every single opportunity for a gift. She already has them bought 2 months in advance. It's insanity. I don't know how she does it. I am terrible at getting gifts. Oh yeah. Because it is like the thing of like, I have money. What do you want? I could buy you anything. It's like, but if you ask me to like, come up with something thoughtful, I'm like, I can't. How would anyone? Yeah. So greatest gift. I don't know.
Everyone that ever gave you something's like, what a dick. What this unappreciative asshole.
I am. That's why I'm like, don't send me anything because I cherish basically nothing. I don't do much in collectibles. You see the guitars back there? I didn't put them up. I didn't put them up there.
They're just
an organizer put them up there. It was convenient to put them there. These walls are barren. This is a sound panel. Like that's it. I don't decorate. I don't do that shit.
Stop talking to me about projects and experiences. What's a thing you love?
Thing?
You don't love your Tesla. It gets you from point A to point B.
Is Chica a thing? I don't know. I don't call my dog a thing. That's rude of you. How dare you?
She's a living person.
Thing. God, I don't know.
How about this, Mark? We're at like 10 minutes left. I sometimes like to do this during the podcast. I don't think it's going to work out well because I don't think you're interested in it. But
what is it?
Switch it. What questions do you want to ask me?
Question do you want? I want to ask you. No, I'd be interested in asking you. You've been doing YouTube a long time, lot longer than I have. I don't want to say lot longer.
No, it's like 15 years or something like that. I think I started 2006.
Yeah, I mean that is quite a career. Yeah. Like I'm coming up on 8-9 years now. I can't quite remember. Yeah. But and people like you said OG YouTuber, and I had a transition point when I went from new YouTuber to OG YouTuber. People, a lot of like fans like will come back and be like, oh shit, he's still making videos. And I'm like, still here, still here. Is that FNAF guy with the hair? It's like, not anymore. Well, long, but not anymore. What is it like for you to have seen so many generations of YouTubers come and go, because there's not many people from your generation that are still around making content on the regular with like the same level of success. Like it's difficult to stay that long. What is your like hallmarks from these crosses? Like anything stand out to you? Like people that stand out who have lasted? Like how have you stayed the course true to it?
I mean, I feel like everyone else that survived from around my time, they're just way smarter than me. I credit myself to finding a good vertical that I care about, that I'm passionate about, that still interests me, even though, you know, you can have bad days. But like Rhett and Link, incredibly smart themselves, have surrounded themselves with really smart, interesting people. Smosh, obviously, they're separate, but both kind of killing it and doing their own thing. But I mean, also, if you look at those guys, they evolved, right? Rhett and Link had their whole period where they went with like the ad angle, and it established them in a different way. And then they went to the daily route, and they thrived there. And so it's been exciting to see the growth in that way. But I'm so thankful that I've been able to stay on, because I feel like there are several generations that missed the boat. Like, we're still early days, and I'm 15 years in. Like, and it's, I don't know. To the point of like when you said like the numbers don't matter to you, like the view numbers don't matter to me, but ever since I was like 15, I got excited by the idea of like business. And so the thing that excites me more, or honestly, like things I don't even talk about in videos, whether it be like the angel investing, whether it be like talking to other creators that are just getting started and shit like that, that brings me joy. Obviously those are two completely separate things. One's more business oriented, and the other is like trying to foster someone that I think is way more talented than myself. But yeah, I mean, that's it. And as far as to kind of go back to a question that I had asked you, I think it's more mainstream now. Like, a lot of the people that you probably came up with, you had like a general or genuine interest in, right? Whether it be like, I like talking to these guys. Now it feels very like, almost like people are putting a boy band together. and hey, success, that's great. I'm the same as you. I'm not gonna shit on stuff, but it feels like it's a little more plastic wrapped.
Yeah, it also reduces the effect of seeing what one person can make themselves. I love seeing collaborative efforts. Don't get me wrong. I love Corridor Crew. They're still making it. They're killing it with their Corridor Crew challenge.
They do some shit though that like it looks better than the stuff you see on screen.
They just redid like that Star Wars effect, and honestly, like it's way better than what Disney did for The Mandalorian. And I'm like, you're right. This is better. A lot of people were like, "Whoa, it's not better." I was like, "Are you blind? It's clearly better. Like it's stupidly better." If they had the different actor and like the original voice, like the resources that Disney had, of course it would be infinitely better. But they didn't. They made it in a weekend. Anyway, I'm getting off at a tangent. But
I wonder if stuff like that is going to hurt them though. If people be like, are you kind of shitting on us? And like, I wonder if you could get like blackballed for something like that.
Fuck them. They're Disney. Who cares?
What are they doing?
Their CEO left.
What's Disney
They're not
doing?
The same.
What are they going to be? The group that unseats Netflix? What are they going to do?
Yeah. So I don't mind the groups, but I do like to see what individual creators can make, because that's where you see vision. And I've talked about this before. Like, I like to see what someone's imagination can take them to. That's why I do a lot of stuff myself, is just because I know that I can hire like a team to make ideas for me, but I don't like that. I like originating all the ideas. For like bigger productions, obviously you need a team. I'm not ignorant to that. I'm not going to do everything myself, but like ideas start from one mind. Usually ideas come from one place or a minimal number of people. And I love seeing those go from creation to full product. I love seeing that. Yeah. I'm questioning here. Shut up. Let's see. What's the worst video you've ever made? What's the worst video you've ever made? Because I've made many that could qualify, and I love them.
Regrettable. I don't know.
No, memeable. Stupid. Well, not regrettable. I don't regret the stupid videos I make. What's the stupidest video? The one that people make fun of you for. The one that people shove in your face.
See, no one does that though, because like I'm like, fuck you guys. And I share something that I also genuinely find funny. Because people dunking on you for like something that's silly. It's funny. It's like a community thing. It feels like a family in that way. Like that's how my friend group, we would fuck around with each other and just say horrible shit to each other. And so that's for me, that's friendship. But no, I can't think of what it would be.
Okay.
Sorry.
I've got many Sonic, Meow, like woof, many things.
Why would Meow be embarrassing to you?
Have you seen that video?
Yeah, it's like a minute long and it's just your mouth over going
so
meow.
Stupid. Well, I mean, the reason I say it's dumb is because number one, it's pretty cringy, but number two, it's just inherently dumb. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. I love that. I love that I made that. I love that I made it. I don't love the video. Is like that video falls in that very specific category for me. And I always want to ask these to people because I'm curious because that ranking is so unique to the YouTuber who made it that it's like a personality quiz of like which video did people maybe like and was successful maybe. But you hate on the internal side. Yeah.
No, I mean, the closest thing. Oh, no. Okay, I got it. So I did early on in my career before I moved out to LA and everyone was figuring out the space. I did an HBO, was it digital? HBO digital series with Kev Jumba. And it was called Hooking Up. And don't you son of a bitch. It was me, him, Jessica Rose, Lonely Girl. And so it was like this. Was this this story about like me and my roommate, and I meet this girl, and for some reason,
there were 10 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Where do I find?
I think we shot this in a weekend. If I remember correctly, we shot a fucking 10 episode thing, and it's so bad. I forget if they didn't give me the script until then, or I just waited to the last second to read. Their wardrobe department, everything is like way too tight on me. And you could see how awkward I look. It was a fun reason to come out to LA, but it's as far as like people joking, there's still people that'll hit me up and be like, when's season 2 coming out? And I'm like, fuck you. But also it might be funny.
God, Baby Phillip.
Phillip, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is crazy. Oh, yeah, I love the compressed down to 4:3. Oh, it is
4:3, isn't it? It's like, oh, yeah.
It's 4:3, but it's also widescreen, so it's just squished. Ah, man. See, that's the kind of shit I was hoping for. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. What embarrasses you?
I was like, that actually, and now they got me thinking of it, and I feel like I mentioned this on like 1 out of every 4 podcasts when I interviewed Anne Hathaway, and oh my God, can't remember it. She's in every Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. What's her name? Yeah. Helen Bonham
Carter. Yeah. Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah. And just like bombing that one, and Helena Bonham Carter just looking at me like I was the asshole I was. So those two things.
What did you do?
And from those moments on, I was just like, I'm just going to stay in a room and talk to myself.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I'll watch that later. I've got it queued up. I've got
good. Yeah.
A nice playlist. I got 10 episodes of Hooking Up, everyone. If you didn't know about this, there's a YouTube channel called Hooking Up, all one word.
It needs to just die, like all my old content.
No, that's the thing. You can't let that die. You got to bring that up. That's part of you. Like Meow, as embarrassed as I am, it's part of me. All the shitty videos I've made in the past are part of who I am.
All right, Mark, I'm out.
Ooh, it's almost got 1 million views the first episode.
It was a big deal back then, Mark.
This is a successful show. Wow.
Okay, I'm going to give you one last question, and then you'll have given me 2 hours of your time, which I very much appreciate.
Right. Oh, I asked you a question. I thought you were going to ask me a question.
No, fuck you. Oh, okay. I'm done, dude. I'm done doing the work. How bad is Jacksepticeye's coffee? Answer.
Yeah, how bad? No, it's quite good. I actually have it. No shill. It's actually pretty good. But then again, I haven't had that many bad coffees from beans straight up because I grind my own beans. Anyway, if you wanted to do a video where you hit me with a bat after COVID ends, would you?
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. I'm down. Actually, I don't collab at all, but I want to. There's so many YouTubers out there. This isn't a question. This is a conversation topic. Like, there's so many YouTubers out there that I know of, respect, want to work with, but I just never reach out and collab. Same with my friends. Like, can you be my matchmaker for everyone else on YouTube?
You want me to connect you?
Yeah. Could you?
For some reason, I feel like you're way more connected than me. I jumped away from the community for a while, and really.
The thing is, like, it may seem like I'm connected. I don't talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to nobody. I literally don't reach out to people on Twitter. I don't reply to people on Twitter. I don't even really use Twitter. I don't have people in my phone texting. It's not like a sad, oh, I'm so lonely thing. Is like, that's just who I am.
Sure.
As I've described, this whole podcast is like, that's who I am. But like I've said before, I recognize some things that like I want to reach out because I do want to know how people make things. I want to pick people's brains on ideas. I want to because the best way to get to know someone in my experience is just to work with them.
Right.
Like that's how I've quickly found some people are just straight up assholes. It's like I work with them once and I'm like, all right, thank you. I'll see you around there, buddy. And I feel like now I've reached kind of like this point in my career where I'm turning into one of these OG YouTubers, and I feel like I want to see if there's expansion in my skill set to work with other people.
Sure.
If I can help other people make things, like I want to start branching out again.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that is one of the things that kind of surprised me is with you saying that, because I think we've only worked together once, and it was on like a World of Warcraft thing forever ago.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah,
which I bring up like once a year because I cheated during that.
Everyone cheated. Yeah. Like, it's fine.
Which made me go like, oh, I'm like toxically competitive. I'm not in this position enough to realize it, but yes, this is true.
Yeah.
But you, that was one of the things that stood out to me is you were so like, you were aggressively nice and like making sure everyone was good. And so it kind of surprised me that you're like, no, I'm an introvert and I don't connect with people.
It's like I'm good at talking with people. I'm good with meeting with people. And it's not me disconnecting out of spite. It's just like I'm so self-absorbed with what I'm doing that I will forget people exist until they text me being like, 3 months later, like, have you seen my text that I sent 3 months ago? I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
See, the pro move is just answer it like you just got it.
No, that's horrible. I always apologize. I have to apologize.
I always do that with like two people. I always do that with two people and they always call me and they're like, you can't fucking do that. I have no idea what you were talking about. But yeah. But dude, thank you very much for the time. I appreciate you.
No, of course.
I hope your foot gets better, even though you're just taking Tylenol.
This distracted me enough. Like whenever I get into a conversation, it distracts me from my foot. So it'll start hurting later, but I appreciate the 2 hours of respite.
When do you think that, or when do they say it's going to get normal?
Well, yesterday I was taking a bath and I slipped. I was trying to hop out of the bath on one foot. I slipped, slammed my foot, broken foot into the side of the tub. Hurt almost as bad as when I first broke it. I think I rebroke it. So it's going to be a little longer.
With feet, do they just go like, it's just going to heal the way it is? Or do they?
They put it in a boot. They did an x-ray, saw that it didn't need surgery, and they put it in a boot.
That's it. Well, good luck with that. And I hope you stop hurting yourself, Mark.
Oh, it's me we're talking about here.